Now, with the show that everyone's talking about, it's called Squid Game. It's a violent thriller from South Korea, and it's centered on a survival game.
게임에 참가를 원하지 않는 분은 지금 말씀해 주시길 바랍니다.
Squid Game is a universal hit. Netflix predicts there's a very good chance it's going to be our biggest show ever.
I remember getting the notification for Squid Game when I was sitting in my room and I was like, oh, this seems interesting. I look at bits of the trailer and I was kind of hooked. I was like, yo, this show looks pretty decent. I watched the first episode and I'm like, this show looks very promising. The first episode was bomb, like that red light, green light game had me hooked. Then I watched the next episode, then the next episode, then the next episode, and I look around and I finished the show in like 2 days. When I finished it, I was like, okay, that was a decent show. The ending could have been better, but it was still pretty decent. Bro, a couple of days go by and I can't go anywhere on social media without seeing Squid Game, bro. Hell, even Bloomberg talked about Squid Game, and when is the first or last time they've talked about a Netflix show? I was so surprised to see that Squid Game was headed to be the most popular Netflix show of all time. I mean, almost every social media post revolves around Squid Game. Like, bro, I have never seen a show blow up this crazy on social media. Every day I ask myself, why is Squid Game so popular? This was when I got to work and I started doing some research, and here we are now. In my opinion, I would say the two main things to get a show to be popular is the plot and characters. Because with a movie, the characters do matter, but people mostly think about the plot rather than the characters, unless it's like some Marvel film or another kind of movie series. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that unless a movie is character driven, most of the time the plot is what engages the audience. With the show, however, it has to pull you in with both because you're going to be spending lots of time getting to know the characters in the span of a couple of hour-long episodes. It's like if the characters aren't remotely relatable or interesting, nobody's going to really care about the show. With Squid Game, there are a lot of familiar characters like the goofy, irresponsible protagonist that wants to help his loved ones, the edgy girl with a deep backstory. Bro, this girl alone makes this show popular. Like, bro, she gave millions of new followers on Instagram, and Squid Game was her first acting role. The bully who ruins everything for everyone, the crazy chick who does the same thing, the gloomy businessman who only cares about himself. And honestly, I don't blame him. I would literally be the same way if I was in Squid Game. I wouldn't care about anyone but myself. This guy is overhated in my opinion because he's the most realistic character in the whole show. I can honestly say I relate to him the most. Like, people be like,
oh, he's a bad person, oh, he's a bad person, oh my god.
Like, no, bro, he's realistic. Like, what is he just gonna sacrifice himself for everybody? They all want the money just as much as he does. If not, they wouldn't be there in the first place. The old but wise, optimistic character, and a character who is just too hard to hate in the story. Now, the plot is also something very special. I mean, the show is called Squid Game, which is nice and simple and easy to remember. It's almost like the creator knew the show would blow up. Squid Game could be classified in the battle royale genre, where contestants have to play a game with deadly consequences and the winner gets a big prize. Squid Game can also be classified as a Korean drama, which are very popular on streaming platforms like Netflix in the US. Like, there are many non-Asian people who have a huge fascination with Korean media in the US, especially for K-pop stars. For example, on the Asian TV show streaming site Viki, its largest audience is from the US, which has 75% non-Asian people. This is just to give you an idea on how much people from the US consume Asian media. What makes Squid Game so unique is the fact that it's able to incorporate childhood games inside the show. For example, the first episode was red light, green light, which honestly was the perfect way to start the show. But how it was portrayed is what makes it interesting. Usually there's a person that says the commands, but with Squid Game there was a big creepy animatronic girl that said the commands and would terminate anyone who dared to move. And even the honeycomb game, which incorporates the traditional Korean candy called popgi, which is literally honeycomb candy. The contestants have to carve out the given shapes perfectly in order to win, which also spawns many people making funny videos about it. There are other interesting games throughout the remainder of the show, but red light, green light, and the honeycomb candy game are the two most popular amongst the show. Like, people on TikTok have been going crazy about these two games, and it doesn't seem like the hype is going to let up anytime soon. Like, TikTok has been giving Squid Game unlimited exposure. It's almost like Squid Game was made for TikTok. Aside from the memorable games played, Squid Game also does a pretty decent job with the drama elements. The main character wants to be there for their daughter even though they're starting to grow distant, and also wants to take care of his diabetic mother. This guy acts as if he's going to school to make his mom proud, but really he's in loads of debt and can't pay it off. This guy is an immigrant who wants to provide for his family but has trouble with getting paid by his boss and finding other means to make money. This old man has a brain tumor and desperately needs treatment but remains optimistic throughout the whole thing. This girl just wants to take care of her brother and reunite with their mother to become a family again. I mean, I could go on for days. I would say the biggest similarity between every character in the show is that they all desperately need money and they're playing the Squid Game in order to do so. I also thought it was very interesting trying to figure out who was behind the game, and I thought the police detective made this portion of the story very interesting, giving you an insight into the life of the guards who work at the Squid Game facility. Also, I like how Squid Game isn't controlled by some divine being or something supernatural, and instead is just an organization that takes advantage of desperate people, which adds a very more realistic feel to the story. Squid Game does a pretty decent job with this social commentary and showing the struggles of others. Every character in the story was flawed in some way, which made them very attractive and relatable characters. Now, Squid Game may not be my favorite show, but I can say I see why it's so popular and why it gravitates towards the audience so much. It definitely was a fun and interesting show to watch during these tough times in our world, and I hope the second season can do an even better job. All in all, Squid Game was a pretty decent experience and a show that I would recommend to check out if you haven't already. Well, that has been it for today's video. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe, and turn on post notifications to get notified every time I post a new video. Also, put in the comment section who your favorite character off of Squid Game is, or your favorite game in Squid Game. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and peace.